I should state for the record that every single one of the studios has produced animation and art that tremendously impressed us, sometimes amazed us. And I think that we knew what styles to expect because, of course, we had a lot of conversations about which direction styles we're going to go in. But I think maybe the most unusual artistic piece in here is Production IG's The Duel.
We needed to find a studio that really could take on the visual challenge of presenting this story in a unique and a very cutting-edge way. And we couldn't really think of a better studio than Production IG to take it on. It actually was a really happy coincidence that director Mamoru Oshii, who's well known for his work on The Ghost in the Shell, certainly is a towering talent and one of the most well-known anime personalities, happened to be working on a story of Musashi at the same time. And that sort of tied together with this idea of the ancient code of honor and then samurai type of story of this episode. Part of that is why director Oshii took an interest in this project and came on board. And it really was a coup for us to have both him as well as Production IG on this episode.
Production IG is a group of artists and producers who gather around the director Oshii with the goal of creating stunning, visually complex works of anime.
My name is Mamoru Oshii. I considered working on The Duel to be an incredible opportunity. I've been a fan of Western computer games such as Wizardry for years, so much so that these games, to an extent, really had a considerable influence on both my storytelling and my visual style. Of course, I was aware of Halo, so I knew right away that I wanted to be a part of it.
The story of The Duel is actually set in what you could almost describe as medieval elite society. You know, anyone who's familiar with elites know that they're sword-wielding, honor-bound warriors, and they were always based on the samurai archetype. So it made perfectly natural sense to tell a type of samurai tale. The story was based on the legend of Musashi, who was a famous samurai who defeated countless opponents, but was especially famous for defeating one with a wooden sword. Didn't even bother to use a real sword. And that story inspired us to tell this tale of honor and revenge. And it's a very classic, very traditional tale.
A shame that sword of yours was too late to save Han. Such a price for your honor, Arbiter.
You are not worthy to speak her name. I promise it is the last you will utter.
Oshii-san is about 58 years old, which is around the same age when Miyamoto Musashi wrote the seminal book on his philosophy and art of war called The Book of Five Rings. Oshii has always taken a great interest in Musashi, not just as a samurai warrior, but a creative genius, artist, and writer who almost equals Leonardo da Vinci. This interest resulted in his recent theatrical anime, Musashi. In fact, production of the Duel episode actually dovetailed his work on Musashi. So obviously, Oshii brought in his creative sentiments and influences from that film onto The Duel.
Miyamoto Musashi is known by all Japanese and even some foreigners who are familiar with the samurai period, but not many people know him in depth. Of course, most Japanese people are aware that Musashi was a warrior who never lost a battle. According to records, he fought more than 60 duels in his life, and at one time even destroyed dozens of samurai by himself. But his feats in battle tend to overshadow his true person, his philosophy, his leadership, and his artistry. The Duel gave us an opportunity to take these elements and weave them into a story set within the Halo world. Out of that, we employed a very painterly visual technique that is distinctly Japanese.
The Duel uses a brand new technique for IG. To me, it evokes 15th, 16th century watercolors, and it's a very soft look with very few hard edges, but it's also very vibrant and colorful in a way that watercolor isn't, so it's actually very hard to describe. You see it and you understand what you're looking at, and they're doing some really amazing post-processing effects on the entire image, and it really is unique and mesmerizing for me. And I think, more importantly, it captures exactly the essence of the story that we were trying to tell.
Come in, Ro. What's the matter?
When I first met with the producers of Halo Legends, I couldn't show them much about the visual that I wanted to create for this episode because it hasn't been done before. I was only able to tell them that I was attempting to create and employ a visual style that had never been seen before, and they trusted me. This episode was obviously a 3D CG animation, but the directing style was very 2D. We created this filter that would create the irregular texture of hand painting, where color would bleed outside lines, unlike traditional animation. It's almost like a motion painting, if you will, rather than motion pictures. I really wanted to take this opportunity to expand the palette of anime beyond the existing methods.
It's significant because a lot of illustrators in Japan, if you look at art books, a lot of them are sort of experimenting with that kind of style, even though digital art has been in vogue for a long time with the advent of programs like Photoshop and Painter. A lot of people are also exploring more traditional mediums like acrylics and watercolor and seeing the combination of those mediums come to life outside of an art book in the Halo universe is just spectacular.
The Duel shows a lot about the nature and the culture of the elites, their honor. I mean, deep down, they are an honorable species. They think that they're doing the right thing. All of these actions, all of this war, they think that they are following the path of their gods, the great journey. As we find out in the Duel, from long, long ago when that covenant was created, that the path that they were set upon, the prophets weren't exactly being straight with them from the beginning. This hint shows up big later on in the games, and it really adds a lot to those moments in the games where you see that path and the covenant fall apart.
And now, the game begins and I must play.
Val.
I know they will come in force to challenge me. And I will not turn away from them. I will answer their call.